Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to another episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, aka the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
You know how we do it. It's 2 topics in 1 hour. So we're going to jump right in. The first topic tonight is going to be the value of marriage or the lack thereof. And the second topic will be women who can smash and get to know a guy versus a guy who just smashes to smash. Okay, so the value of marriage or the lack thereof. I'm inspired by this topic because one, I'm really traditional and really old-fashioned, and I just believe in the sanctity of marriage. And two, because there are a couple of people that have come out lately, including Lala Anthony, who basically said she'll never get married again, that it was an experience and she's done that. And I really don't think, I think we have enough going on in the world because we're in like a twerkerverse. I think we have enough disputing being a traditional woman. I don't think now we need to let a whole bunch of celebrities direct us in the direction of now single and happy, or never married and happy, or once married and never married again. I think that's a mistake. I don't think that even if you agree with a woman being independent, going out working and waiting to get married, I don't think we're going to ever raise our baby girls to not want to be someone's wife.
They're doing that now.
I don't think so. I just think
They're doing that now.
I don't think women are raising their kids to be that way. I just think culturally that's popular at a young age. I don't think even people keep that ideology for long because you can't twerk forever. You can't vacation with your homegirls forever. You at some point you're gonna reach an age that is like, you know what? I want a companion. At some point that's gonna happen.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but they're still preaching that. I'm not saying that don't happen. You're talking about what actually happens. I'm talking about what they actually teaching. What they are teaching is independence, not being a traditional wife or having traditional morals, because they can't be a traditional wife because we don't even have that concept.
Or like traditional values.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
So you can't even really have those because women are training other women. Because keep in mind, like a lot of men are not in the household. So a lot of women are saying, hey, it's hard for me and I'm doing this by myself. And then if they have a daughter, they're saying, take care of yourself. You don't have to cook for a man. You don't have to clean for a man. You don't have to do these things. You can get your money. You can get your education. You can do those things. And that instills... I think you're saying it wrong. I think if people bought into the words you just used, you would be right. But I don't hear women say that. I don't hear mothers say that. What I hear them say is, you don't have to count or lean or depend on a man. Not that you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't need. No, you don't need to be just your whole success and your building blocks shouldn't be only inclusive of a man's pocket or a man's stability. Like you should come to the table with your shit already together to even be presentable as a wife. So I'm not going to echo that sentiment that women are teaching other women that they don't have to do this and they don't have to do that. I think you might be just being somebody who has selective hearing and you're taking the negative out of it. I definitely hear women say, just have your shit together. Gotcha. I don't view it as a negative though. That's where you're wrong. I'm not viewing it as a negative. I'm just stating what is being said. You can't tell me I'm thinking of a negative if I don't think of it as a negative. If a person want to be independent, they're deciding to be independent. right or wrong. Wherever they land up, they gonna land. I ain't got no, I ain't got no qualms about that. But what I will say is, I've watched, and even I get emails, DMs, and everything else. I think the difference is you ain't dating now. You're talking about a concept that was going on when you was dating. You talk to some of these women out, these men out here that's dating, they'll tell you that ain't happening. Because a lot of these women are like, I've been cooking and I've been working all day. So why do I have to cook? I worked, you worked. So what we doing? I guess we going out to eat. That's what's going on. They're not coming in there like, hey, you know what? I want him to see me as a wife. So even though I worked all day, let me just come home and cook and clean and do all these things. I've watched it play out.
It's funny that you bring that up because, again, with my platform, I want to definitely celebrate homemaking and being traditional. And with COVID happening 2 years ago, it created a lot of work at home situations. I think if you are basically in the workforce right now, you don't have an excuse not to pursue homemaking and be a traditional housewife as much as possible, because your job offers now work from home scenarios. There are plenty of scenarios where you could be successful in your freaking dining room and be able to stop what you're doing for 30, 45 minutes, prepare your husband's lunch or whatever. There is an option to still be independent, career driven, work all day, and still have those traditional values. I can speak on that behalf because I do it. My job is essentially at home. Yeah. Whether I have something, one or two things to do out of home, no big deal. But my core is in my home, and I've selectively have made the choice not to go back outside the home because I think my job as a wife is 100% equal to my career.
Gotcha. That's a good concept in theory, especially when you speak from the perspective of just you. But you are not the general population. The general population is actually out here in the workforce. Because what do we have more of? I know I date a lot of fucking nurses. That sounds like a stay-at-home job to you? Don't sound like it.
Yeah. Nurses have stay-at-home positions these days because nursing isn't limited to taking someone's blood or taking, nursing also is very clerical as well. Outsourcing, gotcha. Sending nurses to places, gotcha. Management. Gotcha. A lot of that is done online as well, at home.
Gotcha. There are nurses that are at hospitals.
Yes, you're right.
That work. I know I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with women. They just don't listen. They always trying to find other ways around other things except for what the point that I'm talking about. There are these women out here that still do that. They are women who do not be at home. There are women who don't want to be at home. There are women who are actually bored being at home. Everybody is not you. So stop it with that horse shit. They don't want to be you. They don't want to act like you. They don't want to be a homebody. It's more females out here talking about going after a hard day of work. They want to hit a bar. They want to go out and with their homegirls. They want to have girls' night. They want to do all these things. It's women who are nurses.
I just think
CEOs,
that's short-lived.
But that's not what we're talking about though. We're talking about these women and their attitudes toward things. These women who like, well, I'll cook if I want to, and if I really don't want to, I work just like him. So I don't want to. But that's what we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about that.
Yeah.
So those are the women who are independent, who hear from other women that are independent that you do not have to do that. You can live your life because they want to be equal and live equal and fight equal and believe that we are just as equal as men. If I'm out at working all day, then I shouldn't have to do that. We can split it because they want a partnership. That's what they want. I work just as hard as him. So why do I got to come home and wash the dishes? I work just as hard as him. So why do I got to come home and cook and clean for him and pick up behind him and do those type of things? That's what you're going to hear.
And that's cool. I just think, like I said, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's short-lived too. Because if you don't want to cook and clean, then somebody is waiting to cook and clean instead of you. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of women out there like that. Hooray to them. I just think they're going to run into the guy that they really want. And the guy that they really want is not going to really want them because they're going to find someone that's agreeable and submissive and knows how to balance both.
So what
I'm not
happens
saying
when-
don't be career driven. I'm saying that your marriage or your relationship should be just as important as your career. There's nothing wrong with focusing on both of those things and being balanced and being able to multitask. I'm sorry if you can't do that.
Gotcha. So what happens? Because you have friends that's like that. So you tell your friends that, they tell you to kick rocks, and then now what?
I mean, I will tell you this. The ones who tell me to kick rocks,
Not literally kick rocks.
I know, but I didn't take it that way. But literally the conversation means, bitch, fuck you, I got this. Those are the women with really, really heavy bank accounts. Really, really, really heavy. And I think that's not a big high percentage of people in the world that are females that have bank accounts like that. And that small percentage of women that do, that feel like they want to wear the pants in their relationship, fine. That's
majority
fine.
though.
I mean,
It's that percentage is a lot higher than you think.
probably. I just, out of all my friends, I have maybe 4. I don't have a lot of friends though, so maybe that
There you
is
go.
high percentage.
That's
for me
right.
too.
And if for a person like you who don't
Yeah.
have a lot of friends, for you to say more 4, that should show you right there
Yeah.
that percentage is high.
It's higher.
Higher
Yeah.
than what you think.
Definitely
So
higher.
now I want you to experience what a man is experiencing now. A man is experiencing this shit. I mean, you can contribute to my bank account of the one that I already have built. Or you can kick rocks because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I know what your subconscious is telling you. Your subconscious thinks, not you, but as a man, you would say to yourself, that's what men do. We say, well, this should be common sense for anybody that this is going to be short-lived, this and that. But women don't think that. You know when they think that? When they hit the wall. See, when they hit the wall and then they older and have 2, 3, 4 kids and shit like that, then it's like, I want a man. I can't find a man. Don't nobody want me. All this type of shit. That's when your argument can come into play. That's when you can come in and say, I told you so. You're not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know you. You ain't going to do that. But that's when you can come in and say that. But I'm talking about right now. Is this going on? Because I even have an aunt that's an older woman that was like, hey, dating out here just ain't what it is, because she realized because her bank account is heavy, a man don't really give a fuck about that. The man don't give 2 shits about how heavy your bank account is. And women keep believing this hyped up shit.
The wrong guy cares.
Of I'm a boss bitch and all this other type shit. And then be like, but I'm a college graduate. But I got money. I mean, I have all these things. And the man is looking at him like, so what? I have my own money. I got my own house. I got these type of things. So what? They want a partnership. And to me, that is the problem, because they keep going into it with the idea. And I don't think that idea come from men. That idea come from women.
I really do think this is the high value man versus the high value woman. Because in any situation where the other one is a little bit beneath, this conversation wouldn't even apply. Because if I'm with a man who has more money than me, naturally, in most cases, I'm going to submit to his situation. And if a man is with a woman who has more money than him, in most cases, that man is going to acquiesce. I mean, take a look at Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner.
Yeah,
do I think he really likes her? What is there not to like? She has enough money to keep herself young. I'm sure she smells good. What is there not to like? But what I'm saying is, I'm sure that he does things that he doesn't think is necessarily that fun because she's older. You know what I'm saying? And he has to kind of join her with all her wasps friends that are her age, and he's much younger than her. So, but like I said, in that situation, he's submitting to her environment with good reason. I mean, good for him. But when you get a high value man, if you got a baby face and a Kris Jenner, babyface don't give a fuck about Kris Jenner money, but that's their own issue. A high value man versus a high value woman are gonna have that issue. I don't think this applies to those who have kind of an unbalanced situation. Even a woman, I think, who has all the money in the world and her bank account is heavier than her man's, if he's an alpha and he's wearing the pants still, you wouldn't even be able to tell that. because she would still know how to be agreeable and submissive and not to sign the check at dinner to let him do it, because he should have the same card she got to her motherfucking bank account. If she's submissive and he's the right guy, there's no way that if her bank account is heavy and her man isn't, that she should be still signing the check, because her bank account is, their bank account is equally both of theirs.
Gotcha.
So she should automatically let him leave.
So my question is this, but where are they learning it at? And see, the problem with that is I don't think they're learning that. Like, there is not, even though people really don't like the Fresh and Fit podcast, there's every once in a while they have points on there. And I seen an older woman on there who said that same sentiment of what you just said. And there was 8 women in there, and she was the oldest woman in there. And they looked at her like she was crazy. Why am I giving him my card to my bank account? That's exactly verbatim what she said.
But if he's the right guy, why not?
She did not care. She said, I earned it. Every route you finna go is the route that I'm finna tell you what that woman said to her. And she said that exact same thing. If that's the guy, she said, if that's the guy, I ain't never gonna know. She was like, because if he don't make more money than me, she was like, he need to be adding on to my money, not the other way around. The problem is they feel like their money is their money. And the man who make more money that can probably tell them what to do, they let them keep their money and spend his money. That is the problem. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. A woman is not going to be with another man regardless of the value of what you're talking about and say, okay, well, this is my man. And even though he treat me well, I'm going to give you the keys and reign to my kingdom and then let you leave. Now, I believe you're right as far as like if that is the right man, but a lot of times they look at the right man, choose the wrong man because choosing wrong is easier. Not choosing the right man. The right man can be right in front of them and they don't want them until they hit the wall. That's when they want the right man. But while they're out here dating, they don't want the right man. They want to know who can add value onto me that I already have.
I mean, I don't think that's really a bad thing to look at, but even a billionaire's asset isn't all physical. A billionaire can't go to the bank and withdraw $1 billion. So there's value in other places. And if you're looking at his ambition is equity, if you're looking at his small business as equity, if you're looking at how he gets along and loves his mother and his children as equity, then it boils down to what you're valuing and what you're not valuing. Because having $1 billion in the bank and beating my ass, that don't balance out.
It don't, but a lot of them getting their ass beat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
I've been there. Yeah, but you've been there, and we watch shit play out day in and day out. Chris Rock or whatever name is, Sean Rock, whatever
Christian.
name, you know what I'm saying? Like, we watch this shit play out day in and day out. Hey, I'm over, I'm broken up with him, you know, cock-a-doodle-doo. You know what I'm saying? And then when the sun sets, he back in the good graces. You know what I'm saying? The good graces of some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to pick wrong. And we can speak from the perspective because, you know, you're not in the situation. But when you in the situation, picking that ain't that. Like, those examples that you just gave, like, if I was hurting for money, and I can't really speak, and I don't really know too much, but what I do know is this. I watched this not too long ago. One of these podcasts said that they noticed that when it comes to interracial dating, that they see the black man always with this, you know, they either pick the white chick because they done became successful, or a situation like what you just said, they using the white chick because that chick is successful. Now I view that as settling. That's what I view it as. I'm not finna lay down with nobody wrinkled and old. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Now, I believe in survival tactics. Like,
and I was going to say, it is survival out here in these streets.
I believe in survival tactics, but I have a thing called morals that just won't let me do it. Yeah. But above all, I'm just not a user. Yeah. Some people wake up every day without a shadow of a doubt and know they don't love this person.
Yeah.
But the money, you just like, you know what? Why would I fuck with someone broke and get some pussy when I can just fuck with someone older and imagine someone else? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cheat, whatever, this and that. Like, but that's the difference though. Men will do that.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I'm saying to myself, well, yeah, that's fine, but that's just settling. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a situation like, because I think no matter what relationship you go into, there's always going to be a power struggle. And I don't always think that power struggle is financial. It's a struggle of who wears the pants. And once that comes into play and the dust is settled, if you're cool with saying, you know what, I just don't wear the pants, I feel like there are some men that's cool with that and be like, you know, I just don't wear the pants. And I feel there's some women that just like, I'm cool with that, I just don't wear the pants. Where you run into the problem is, I don't care whether the dude have more money than that woman who make money or not. She's not gonna settle because she don't want to give up her shit. It would cause her to actually give up her shit to be with a man who actually has more.
I think there is a way to do everything. Let me tell you,
Of course.
who I really, really admire. She's just, I don't know, out of all the celebrities in the world, I love Candy Burris. Because this situation definitely applies to her. Somebody, she definitely made more money than her husband going into the relationship. But you can't see in their dynamic from what they show us that he does not wear the pants and that he does not fucking call the shots. And she even has an active family, like her mom and aunts, that are like, hell no, don't give him the key to the castle. What if he's this? What if he's that? But she is someone who believes that if that's who she chose, she is going to play the role of the submissive wife. And even though her bank account is bigger, he has the keys. So it appears that they are equal.
But now you're proving my point. And you just landed right back in my lap. You know what I'm saying? What I just said. Her mother, her aunt, and everybody else are saying, no, don't. And
Don't do
that's
that.
my point. That's my point right there.
That is
because
true.
you cannot prove that point to a woman and say
That it makes sense.
so say that you make all that money and then say give the keys to, and I said, where do you learn that from? And you just said it, the women. Because I said, ain't no man, your daddy, even though I have a daughter, if my daughter brought a man to me and I looked at him, I was like, you know what? Good leader, I understand. We look like I see a little bit of me in him. And I'm like, you know what? Just let him leave, baby. You know what I'm saying? I would tell him that. Not a mother. A mother could be dead ass wrong. And she gonna stand on that lie until she go into the grave. You could be having the happiest marriage ever.
Girl, you better get your own bank account.
And she gonna still be like, girl, listen.
Better have your own, girl.
You better have your own shit. She will see you in happy blitz and still be telling you that you doing that shit wrong.
No lie.
Only from a woman. Only from a woman.
No lie. That is facts. Let me tell you why. These stories are coming from women who are battered, bruised, and broken. You can't, it's very hard to have a bad experience and say, baby, don't look at my situation. It's very, very, it's above average. It must be a glorious person, a good-hearted person that would say, you know what? I'm not going to raise my daughter according to my situations. That's fucked up. It's wrong. And you should not be doing that at all. But I agree. That is facts. But that's why. I'm not making an excuse. I'm saying this is why. Because the people who are teaching us and passing down that message aren't a good example in their own relationships.
Yeah, they're women.
So that's a reason not to listen to them, by the way, guys. Why are you listening to somebody who didn't make their relationship work?
And
that's crazy.
And on top of that, look at this. I'm glad you brought her up as an example. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to help me with my campaign again. Again, with my campaign is, I'm not the biggest fan of Candy. But what I will tell you is there's a lot of women that ain't going to rock with her. You know why? Because of those examples that you just gave. But also these examples. Not only does she give her man the keys to the kingdom, but she also caters to her man. She also gives her man threesomes. And I can tell you right now, there's women right now looking at this podcast. I say this shit. It was like, that bitch stupid. with a straight face.
And she's married.
That's right. And
whoever's saying that is probably
she's
saying
in a relationship, got her man the whole nine, and there's still one that's out there was like, I don't give a fuck what she is. I ain't doing that. Because it's harder to go the hard route than it is the easy route. And that is what I'm talking about. She'd rather not give the traditional values that bring to that marriage to say, you know what, I'm supposed to give the keys to the kingdom. Because like it's men understand this type of shit. Men understand that I gotta go out and slay the dragon. I gotta go out here and play my role. If the tire get busted, I gotta fucking do it. If the fucking grass or need to be cut, I gotta take care of that. A man understands his role, his value, the whole nine. Now we land to women. This shit starts getting murky. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, it's like, role? What role?
Yeah, why
you know what I'm saying? I don't feel I have to. It always starts with, and guys, everyone listening to the podcast, you know how it always start up? I feel like it's always gonna start with some shit that they feel. I feel like I ain't gotta do that. I feel like we work the same amount of hours. I feel like, why do I have to do that? We putting in the same amount of work. It's always gonna start off with some shit.
The reason why is because you can be replaced. It would be perfect if you could adopt that attitude and still be married and stay married. But I haven't seen anybody adopt that attitude and be able to keep a man. That's what I'm saying. Women are getting younger and younger out there. I recognize that shit. When I was just 4 or 5 years out of college, I'm like, God damn, where are these bitches coming from? Tight stomachs, ass sit up, could lose weight in 30 days. I'm like, why can't I lose weight that fast? And my friend had to remind me, dog, you 30, she 23. Don't be so hard on yourself. But I recognized very early that the women who smiled as bright as I do and speak as well as I do, they're not 40. They're 20. They look good and it's competition out here. And if you live life as competitive as you should be, then you'll recognize those things are a part of keeping your man at home. That's all I'm saying. And they're very simple things. Make some fucking muffins. Big deal. Y'all, they're making a mountain out of a mud hole off of domestic shit. Women who had nothing baked for their families made grits over fire. God damn. You can't stick some shit in the microwave and have some goddamn dinner ready? For what reason? It's like you're building an issue over things that you're born to do. It's like you're fighting against the grain. You are a woman. Embrace that shit. You should be able to balance it and tackle everything a man could do. I'm not saying limit yourself, but goddamn, the shit you was born with, you should excel in naturally. It should not be that hard for you to make a fucking meal. And if you can't do it, like, you learn. Big fucking deal. Put a check by that shit. That you could cook and you could clean and you could suck dick.
Mm-hmm. And they're gonna say, but what about him? That's gonna be their rebuttal. And I hate that. And don't get me wrong. Sad. And don't get me wrong. You making some valid points. You are. You making some valid points. But they still gonna say, but what about him? Because that takes accountability for someone to say what I'm supposed to do. A man doesn't be like, well, you make enough money already. Why do I? You don't hear that come out of a man. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because a man still, like a real man at least knows, like, nah, you got to get your bank account in order. You got to get your ducats up. You know what I'm saying? You got to provide a house. You got to have your own ride. You got to do these type of things. A man understands his role.
Right. A man can't choose when he wants to make you feel safe.
Yeah.
That's like a motherfucking automatic.
Someone break into the house. I don't be like, babe, you gonna get that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Men don't do that. We understand our role. You know what I'm saying? It's the women who in this new age is like, fuck a role, we equal. Fuck a role, we partners. Fuck a role, they can do it, so can I. You understand? Even women now that come out, they even talk about their body count. Say like, it's fucking slut shaming and this and that, and they tired of that shit. And they'll say, if a man can do that, we can do it. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? We need to have the same, even though we know we're not the same. Biologically, we ain't the same. But a woman will still stand on that shit and sit there with a straight face and be like, but, you know what I'm saying? They don't do that for men. We know this already. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the fuck is your argument?
I had this one guy that I was dating for a little while, not a very long time, but I remember us backing out of my garage and there are probably about 4 or 5 snakes at my front door. It had to be maybe a mouse or something that they were chasing because they were all congregated on my porch. Like they were chasing something. And I said, something in my mind was like, even though it's unintelligent at the time, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get under my door. Like, chase them off. Go do something. And he was like, no. Just clutching to the steering wheel. And I'm looking over at him like, I can't leave my house with snakes on my front porch. I don't feel safe. Like, throw a rock or something. And he's still holding on to the fucking steering wheel like, no. And then I went to get out. He was like, what are you doing? And I stood by my car and I just, in the name of Jesus, removed the snakes from my porch and they just went away. Not to get religious, but I had to pull courage from fucking somewhere because this pussy wouldn't even, he's shaking in fear. In that moment, I knew that I was with the wrong person. In that moment, he made it clear. I didn't leave that night. Not that day. But I understood that he didn't, that was one more thing that he didn't give me that I needed. And that was to always feel safe and would never not get out of a vehicle, would let me get out. Oh my God, stay in, it just wasn't manly. It wasn't, okay, I'll do something about it. Like you would think me opening the car door was enough. Like, okay, wait, I'll figure something out. Beep the horn, something. He was just like trembling and like couldn't move and couldn't protect me in that moment. And we was inside of a fucking car. So that was enough for me. So yeah, you can't pick and choose. We want you guys to make us feel safe all the time. There isn't a choice when you come home. I don't feel like making you feel safe today. So, you might want to set the alarm and look at the cameras because I'm just not going to do it today. Men don't do that. But women want to decide whether they want to cook or not cook. I mean, at minimum, I'm not saying that you have to cook. I know how to order Outback, takeout, and put it on a plate. You're still taking the initiative to make sure your man eats. I'm not saying you have to slave over the stove, but he also should not come home to nothing prepared for him to eat.
But I don't want to boil it down to just like cooking because I don't want people to get lost in the shuffle. But I'm just saying like just is roles that people are playing. So like even when you was giving the example of like even though if the woman make enough money, makes more money. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure if they understand the concept that if this is the man that you choose and this is who you feel comfortable with and this is who you want to ride with, mm-hmm. that woman still provides the power to make him feel like a man. And you can even encourage him to step his game up. So even if you was in a situation where you make the most money, you slide him your card and then have him pay for the card. And it's a lot of women. Pay for the bill. Pay for the bill. So it's a lot of women right now. I'm saying this. That's gonna be like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make a power play? It's her ego. So you are out to dinner with the understanding that he probably ain't got it. I'm sure that's already been established if y'all are in a relationship. That's why I said you picked him.
So right, you already are with your person. So you want to make a power play at dinner. You want everybody in there to know that you're paying for dinner. For what reason? That's a flex. And I'm trying to figure out where does that flex come from?
So the next
Just let your man leave.
So the next time you're around one of your homegirls, I want you to ask him that and see what answer you get. I want you to come back on the show and be like, you know what? Talk to one of my homegirls. And I say, you obviously make more money than him. Do you give him the credit card for him to pay for it?
While y'all are out.
While y'all are out at dinner. And just see what they say. I want you to ask one. Come back on the show and tell me what they say. Right. Tell me what they say.
They're probably going to say, if he can't pay for the bill, I wouldn't be out with him.
There you go.
The 4 friends that I'm talking about, that's what they're going to say.
But I bet you this, though. They're going to tell you that, but I guarantee you that's bullshit. Because I bet you they fuck with someone who cannot pay for the bill because they wanted that dick. You know what I'm saying? They wanted that dick. And they got that dick. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's either we ordering in where you don't got to, give up your credit card. But I'm just saying, in the notion of y'all going out, would you just hand them your credit card? And I'm not talking about you on a date. Because some people going to be like, well, we don't want
not a date, a relationship.
I'm talking about you in a relationship. This is the person you pick. This is the person that you with. This is the person who y'all stay with each other. Y'all in each other's house. Y'all like that. I'm saying, you make more money than him. do you hand him the credit card when y'all finna go out to eat and then let him pay?
And again, guys, it's not off topic. I think this all has to do with the value and lack thereof of what we see as valuable in marriages. Yeah. What we're valuing and what we're not valuing.
And keep in mind, it's not off topic because one thing I can honestly say is like just seeing my grandma, you know what I'm saying? Grandmas and women in the past have done that for their men. They make their men feel like they leading. And that's what I'm getting to. It's like they know they strengths and weaknesses of their man. Mm-hmm. So they take the weaknesses and make them believe that it's a strength and make that man believe it's his strength. So that is what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to boil it down to just a credit card situation. I'm saying it can empower him to be like, you know what? She's helping me out. She gave me the ring to the kingdom. And now I need to step up so I really am leading. I really am being accountable for myself and make my bank account match. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. And you're right. It is important to kind of value things like that to even consider being in a marriage. If you don't value that, or if you don't see that as a role, as a part of your role as a wife, then I think that might be the problem. And that's why we have that attitude or the lack thereof of marriage, because we don't even respect being like
the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah, they don't respect the sanctity of marriage or being really a backbone anymore. I used to feel like in the day that was a statement. You're supposed to be the backbone for your man, like you're supposed to be his support system.
It's real.
Yeah, but I don't even hear that conversation
because they want to be equal and they don't want to be looked at as I'm being used or someone using me. And you're right. I feel like it comes from damage because Candy had enough courage to heal herself.
She did.
And then say, this is how you're supposed to treat my man and this is what I'm supposed to do for my man. She still have people in her family that are females that's like, no, stop, don't. Like she on fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Real. No, it's serious. That's basically her storyline. Through seasons after season after season, there's someone saying, you know, you shouldn't give him that much reign. Now they talking about her putting a will in place and who gets to make the decision with her money when she's gone.
Of course.
And the mama is like, make it your daughter and me. Fuck her husband. It's just crazy.
No, it's not.
You know, it's just nuts. But again, this is someone who is damaged. I don't think she knows any better. And it takes a very humble person.
She's still going to be alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you don't will in your daughter, but goddamn, it should be me and your daughter. No, it should just be the daughter. Now, it would have made sense if you were like, hey, you know, take care of your daughter. Me and your daughter, I don't even need to hear no more. Next topic.
That's it. We really do want you guys to respond to the question that you asked about being in a relationship and being out in public, whether it's dinner, the fair, or whatever. Before, if you're in a relationship and the money is in your bank account, which I also don't know why she would still have a separate account, because I believe in joint accounts, and if you both have separate ones that you're saving, your savings, that's fine, but you should both have joint accounts. But if you don't, before going out, do you just make sure he has the money in cash or on his own card so that he could navigate and lead while you guys are out? I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say and answering that question. So we're going to move on to the next topic, and that is women having sex and getting to know. I actually think we move into sex, whatever your waiting period is, we're always anticipating getting to that first day, getting to that first time sex so we can build our sexual relationship. And I think we kind of count on the sexual relationship to get to know you. Men will, however, smash without the notion that they're even going to see you tomorrow, because the only thing on their mind is the smash. And I'm not saying that they're going to do a smash and pass. They don't even know. They don't care. It could go either way for them. But the motive is the smash. And so that'll be the topic. Just maybe why or why not. That's a good choice. I understand why women wouldn't do that. I think until we move into our sexual relationship, there's a part of us that is unexplored and is uncomfortable. I hate first time sex. I want to hurry up and get the first time over with so we can get to the second, third, and fourth time, because that's most likely when I'm going to get off, is later on down that road. And I'm willing to have sex with you while getting to know you. I actually think I'm going to learn more if I'm letting you smash. because there's going to be parts of the week I'm not seeing if we're not smashing, because you're off getting some. So once we move into that category, I feel like I'm going to get to know you even more. Why is it that men don't even think about it? They don't even, for 1 minute, are thinking about what happens after the sex, or care about what's going to happen after the sex.
I mean, if that's a question,
Yeah.
it's a simple answer. We think logically, and women think with delusion. The thing,
Delusion to
yeah,
what?
we think logically, and women think with delusion when it comes to that. We understand that the idea of sex doesn't lead to anything. Like, it can or it may not. You know, women like instant gratification. That's why when women give a pussy, they're like, we go together. You know what I'm saying? You don't never hear like no man be like, you go together. You know what I'm saying? We go together. He can say some shit that just sounds good, like this pussy mine now. But he doesn't really believe that or no shit like that. He knows that it gets women off. Like any man that knows shit about women, we know that if we just claim some pussy, that, you know what I'm saying, like, this is for Dixmen now. This isn't for sailors again. This is for true Dixmen who know this type of shit. We know in the mental mind of what gets women off, that stimulant, like, oh my God, he claimed me, my pussy wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that type of shit already.
Yeah.
Now, for women, they don't have the same type of fight to go along with that, because we all know the same with men. What's better than old pussy? New pussy. You know what I'm saying? So a woman don't have that same bag to go into. You know what I'm saying? This pussy yours? Of course, I'm fucking it right now. You know what I'm saying? This pussy just on lease. You know what I'm saying? We understand we don't own it. You know what I'm saying? We understand these type of things where women don't understand that. You know, and going into it, I understand that we also are different. We are wired different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you have to always start with that. It's a reason, and it's crazy too, because I was talking to my lady and I was saying to her, you know, she was asking me about like, like, what do you like about pussy, this and that. I'm like, so I'm like, well, look at the human body. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the human body and then you look at women, it's a reason why women just look beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like the breasts, the nape on their back, their stomach. It's just certain shit about women when you look at, and then you like, there's certain things, and whether it's like they're short, tall, thick, small, or whatever, it's always sudden you could just wet them. You know what I'm saying? You're like, God damn, this shit look good. You know what I'm saying? But that concept don't work for men. You know what I'm saying? When a man looks sloppy, he looks sloppy. You know what I'm saying? When a man look husky, he look husky. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody look at them and like, look at this motherfucker. Like, the man has to be chiseled for the woman to be like, that motherfucker look good. Right, you know what I'm saying? You just can't wet a man up and you was like, look at how you come out that pool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't work for men. It can work for women, but it does not work for men. You do have to be in shape. And the other thing was, I told her, I was like, look at dicks. They ain't nothing attractive about a dick.
I disagree.
I know you do, you're nasty like that. But I'm saying, in all honesty, there's nothing really attractive about it. What I'm saying is, compared to the vagina and the guy, I'm looking at a show last night called White Lotus, and it was an older dude on there. It had to be like older or some shit like that. It had to be like in his 70s or some shit like that. And his grandson was like, "You still get hard?" He was like, "Yeah, I still get hard." He was like, "I get like this." He was like, "But I would think like at your old age," he was like, "I don't feel like a woman need to be looking at your old." He was like, "It's a dick. It's not a sunset. It ain't nothing that need to be like looked at that way." And I was saying to myself, I'm like, he's right. You know, even though he put it that way, I was saying the same thing. Like, I could see a woman looking and saying, this is my dick or whatever, this and that. But it's not like a pretty thing that is supposed to be looked at. It's not a sunset. It's just a dick. When you're looking at a woman, you're looking at the work of God and what he has done. And that's why you see it on statues, way more statues of women and shit like that than men. Statues of men that be naked, they ugly. And look at what they do to the dicks. They be all chiseled up and limped and bracket down and all this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? The woman, she, that they be on top of cars and like arched back and shit like that. Like, sex is just totally fucking different. Now, if you want to say, why do we go into it that way? I would honestly say is because we're going to think about the sex part first, which is a mistake for men. Because we look at, but we are visual. So I don't want to say it's a mistake like that. We are visual. What I'm saying is it can get us in trouble because we also get blinded by pussy, and then we don't take in what's good for us. So as far as like going into it for just sex, yes, we definitely go into it and willing to learn afterwards. And I wouldn't tell no man not to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we are visual people. But I also think that we understand that it's just sex and it might not lead to anything, and I'm here to procreate. Women don't have those same things that go on. They saying to themselves, like, women say shit like this, especially before they have sex and shit. Ooh, look at him. I bet we have some pretty babies together. Like, they done jumped themselves all the way past sex to a relationship and kids. I don't know no man doing that. The only time a man is going to mention some shit of a woman we finna have sex with.
Because our intent is different.
I know that.
My intent is to make you my intent. If I'm giving you my vagina, my intent is for you to be my guy.
I got that.
So of course I'm imagining long term. And again, it's funny that from topic to topic, it boils down to whatever you value. If you value your body and you value who you're giving it to, then you're gonna look at it in a long-term perspective. You're gonna imagine what it looks like long-term. You're not gonna say, damn, I'm about to get this dick tonight and who gives a fuck about tomorrow. I understand there are some women out there doing that because I'm not every woman and I'm proud not to be every woman. But again, it boils down to you putting some value in the act of sex. I've never had sex with somebody I didn't like or see myself with.
Gotcha. And who's the, and you know, I think this is where shit go kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think for men and women, but it goes to show you that we just not the same. I think one of the biggest things also why women don't understand that is because women get offered sex every day, not men. Like when you take shit away from men, it just start becoming hard to get. And you ever seen a motherfucker that is on hard times? They do anything to get it, and I think that's what women fail to realize. Like a man going to a strip club, it's the most beautiful woman you ever seen. You know you can't pull that woman on your own merit. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I can never date, fuck, or get or spell this pussy on any day of age. But now you got the money to get it. You'll spend your damn near whole check for that one night. That's how a man thinks. He'll spend his whole check.
So he knows she's unattainable as a girlfriend, but
exactly.
he's willing just to...
Exactly. But flip that scenario around. A woman can go into a strip club. It'd be the finest dude that she ever saw. And that dude could be out of her weight class.
Yeah.
But she could flirt with him, and just off the flirt alone, she got a shot. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. He might like big girls. You know what I'm saying? It's men out here that just like different type of women.
Yeah.
So her chances are way higher
way
to get that dick, even though she see him up on the stage, than the guy. The guy knows that I gotta spend money.
She knows she got to spend money too. Don't get it twisted.
But I bet you she can get it without spending the money though. I bet you that.
Because he's willing just to have sex.
There you go. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, women be having this notion that men would they start saying shit like, well, I just don't get it. I don't understand why men, would just rush into it with sex. It's because sex is at an abundance for you. It's at an all-time high. It ain't an all-time high for men. Men ain't fucking at alarming rates. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you think. You know what I'm saying? You can think that shit all you want to. I meet men day in and day out. You know, what's your body count? 11. 30-year-old 11 count. That is, you know what I'm saying? It's not unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Men are socially awkward, especially now. They don't know how to talk to women. You know what I'm saying? Every man ain't got game and can get a woman off just spitting, you know what I'm saying, words out their mouth and know and understand what to say to a woman to get it and make their panties wet and get it off?
Yeah, I think right now men
You got
what
a question?
qualifies them
Oh,
as
it's
a
on.
dick smith is how big their bank account is.
Alright, so my question is, we're saying that women now are having sex with only people that they like. What's to say back in the day that they wasn't? I understand back in the day that
Gotcha.
there was rules, there was morals and all that stuff, but now it seems like they kind of gone away. But I think that was happening back in the day. It's just that now you got social media and everything that puts you out there.
I got an answer for that, believe it or not. And this might seem a little crazy, but, and she can chime in, I honestly feel like back in the day, it was slut shaming. So it wasn't okay to be a hoe. It wasn't okay to be a slut. It like that scarlet letter shit, that's
real.
That was a real thing. You know what I'm saying? You just couldn't be out there slutting it up
Chicken
like that.
head, all
yeah,
that, torture you.
Yeah, like even back in the day, like sucking dick was an offense. Like even if you look at the, you know, a good example of that is look at the Sicilians. The Sicilians don't let their wife suck their dick. They let their mistress suck their dick. It was a thing that was considered like your wife.
Was above that.
It was
Yeah.
above that.
Yeah.
So once you married her, she didn't give you head. They had a mistress for that. They sucked their dick the whole nine. Now you come full circle into empowered women and you know what I'm saying, we can do what men want to do. They trying to use what black people use to the word nigger. They trying to we put an A on it to take away the NER, you know, I mean the ER, and they are trying to take away the slut shame and saying it's okay to be a slut. So now they trying to make hoism the forefront to say it's okay.
It's okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's okay to do that.
Reverse.
You know what I'm saying? You can have a high body count. It should not matter. You can suck as many dicks as you want to. That should not matter. Amber Rose. We can have a slut walk. That should not matter. Like when you look at it from that standpoint, they trying to erase in your mind like it's okay to do that. All the way till it boiled down to this man don't want me. Why? Because it
You
is
ran through.
Because it's still something that they made up.
Girl.
It's still something that they made up. It's not something that God said we okay with. It's some shit, again, women charting on date agenda saying that should be okay. I ain't never seen a man out there saying we support the slut walk.
Okay, but I said this last week. There are so many issues surrounding women's rights that they gotta come out all across the fucking board. They can't say that a woman could be an astronaut just like a man if a woman can't fuck as many women or fuck as many men as a man can fuck women. You can't tell a woman that she can stand on the front line of the Marines and kill just like a man can, but she can't fuck like a man can. It just doesn't make sense to our issue or our plight if we're gonna fight to say, hey, goddammit, we deserve the same treatment that he's getting, then we have to check all the fucking boxes. Even something as stupid and as simplistic as make sure your body count is low so a man will want you. I believe in that. But I also understand that we have women out there fighting for us and fighting for this country and want to be looked at equally, and they ain't getting dick anyway. And they're leading the fight. So to say, man, she can fuck whoever she want to fuck, it's easy for them to say. They ain't getting dick. They fuck other women probably. You know, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying that getting dick or having, I probably will get jumped on. So make sure I say this right. Women who are fighting really for us and are at the forefront of women's movement and equal rights, a lot of them are lesbians. They're pro women because they don't fuck with men really. And I'm glad they're in place doing that for me. I'm glad that there is someone that is not affected by the emotion of loving a man standing on the front line for me. They don't give a fuck about men because they can't right now. They're fighting a battle for my personal rights. I can't do it. You know why? Because is it offensive to me? No. I understand. I feel like, honestly, it gives me the balance that I need, because there are some things that I want a man to lead on and there are some things that I don't. But I can't join a war playing both sides of the fence. When I'm at war, I got to be ready to kill the enemy. And that's what women are doing right now. And yes, Some of us are the sacrificial lambs. Marriages are the sacrificial lamb. I get it. But we cannot go to war with one foot in and one foot out. We can't fight for equality and still telling women that it's not okay to have the same body count as the guy you're going to marry. It just doesn't make sense to the fight. And we need people out there to fight who are not affected by the emotion of love for a man. I am. So I can't do it. I love who I'm with. I'm going to sacrifice for who I'm with. So it's not my job to be on the front line fighting some of these issues.
And I want everybody to understand that this topic is actually more of a discussion, not really a debate, to kind of let people understand the thinking of men and women from both perspectives. Because I'm not saying that it's wrong for anybody to think the way that they think, whether it's a woman that's a feminist or a man that's chauvinistic. Because at the end of the day, we all have free will thinking, and we all can have points where say, hey, this works for me and I'm living my life and I'm cool with that. And someone that's chauvinistic can be like, yeah, that's fine, this works for me and I'm cool, this is what I'm rocking with. So every day we're going to run into a situation that's like that. When it boils down to sex, I say use what works for you, but to address the topic, we're just not the same. We don't approach it the same. We're never going to approach it the same. A woman isn't going to understand, because that's like almost telling a tiger to understand a lion. They two different species. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't.
But they know their place. In the animal kingdom, it seems like everybody comfortably knows their place and doesn't try to take over each other's space. Human beings have a problem.
Well, that's because in animal kingdom, they're not thinking. You know what I'm saying?
They're not thinking with emotion. They're just based on survival. So yeah, I just think that it's funny that we're so much more evolved than animals, but they have it right.
Of course they do.
The lion goes out and hunts, and so does the female. But I don't ever see a female lioness trying to lay at the head of the pride and run the show. You understand what I'm saying? But she hunts too.
Because there's not thinking into it. It's not religion into it. It's not government laws into it. It's not I have power. The animal kingdom goes by the real rules, and they follow their rules. When you put in free will thinking, laws, religion, emotion, all those things, it's a muck. So really, that's why that actually go like that. But we actually just wanted to touch that topic because, you know, we did get a DM that was like, hey, a man said that to a young lady, and she was like, I don't understand, why is that? But keep in mind, like, you have to understand the other species to understand that as a man, men don't have sex like that, and it's probably bad for us, but we will lead with sex and get to know the woman after the fact. It's not an issue for us.
Yeah, I think the dance is okay though. I think that men have their way of doing things. I think the mistake comes into play when we try to change that and make it something that it just isn't. They are who they are, and we are who we are. We have to have emotion or some kind of like for you, and you guys don't. No big deal. I think it's the oldest conversation in the world, but certainly relevant to have. We're going to go into our tap-in. I'm sure you have one.
I don't have a tap-in. I don't believe I do. Okay,
so this is what we'll do. We'll fill that in. So we already tackled her. We brought her up earlier, which was Chrisean Rock. Had an altercation with Blueface, and she finally came out and made this big video saying, hey, I'm not protecting you anymore. I tried to get out of the car and you blacked my eye and you busted my lip. And then fast forward 24 hours later, she has a new video out saying that she was on drugs and had a bad trip and threw herself out of the car. Now, why I'm bringing this up is my spouse woke up and I was already triggered. He was like, what are you doing? I'm on Twitter with this long post. He was like, get off Twitter. What are you doing? Like, this is what happened with Chrisean Rock. This is a cry for help. This was before I saw the video of her saying he didn't hit her. I just saw the video for the fresh busted lip and the black eye and everything. And I was like, hey, this is a cry for help. This is not okay. In fact, when Blac Chyna and Rob when they got too escalated and they recognized that the relationship was abusive, they cut the show. And that's where this whole Chrisean Rock and Blueface shit was going. Because if they keep airing that and putting them in the same environment, he keep beating her up, then we're perpetuating that it's okay to let this girl get beat up and us keep looking and watching and not doing anything about it. And so that's why I was triggered. And then my guy said, stop. You don't really know what happened. And then boom, she released this video. I got into a debate with him because I recognize this as a cry for help still. You cover up. These are all the symptoms of battered women's syndrome. You take back your statement. That's the same thing as the police coming to the house and you standing there bleeding, you talking about you failed. And the police know you got your ass whooped, but you just don't want your old man to go to jail. This is what's happening. The question is for all of us, are we willing, because there are stories like O.J. Simpson, Nicole Brown. There are stories where we saw and heard and over again was like, yeah, he beating her ass again. And then one day she's dead and we all wish we would have done something. We're in that same position now with Blueface and Chrisean Rock, where we're watching her. And the moment she doesn't get up, or the moment her ass go missing and somebody find her body, then we're all like, oh my God. You know, and didn't say anything. So isn't this the time, culturally, as a society, to say this is not entertaining to us anymore? They have a toxic relationship and just stop watching so that they get help? Don't you think it's in this time we should be doing that?
No, I think we should stop watching. Honestly, I don't know Chrisean Rock.
Chrisean.
Whatever. That show you how much I know. Don't care. Realistically, I don't know her and I don't know Blueface, and it really ain't my business. I really try to stay off of social media when it comes to these type of things. What I will say is she do have a family. You know what I'm saying? And it's their responsibility. And it's his responsibility of his family to also step in and be like, look, bro, you know what I'm saying? This is an unhealthy relationship. But for the public to make those type of claims, no, I don't agree with that. There would be a lot of things banned off of TV, like you take like Black Ink, Caesar, for instance. They watch him. I've saw claims where they was like, you know, we watched him beat up on women, and he beat up on women, and they didn't show it on the show, and then they didn't show fighting, and they didn't show all this type of things. Then he hit a dog, and then he was canceled. That should show you the perception of how warped we are as a society on what we will watch
and what we won't accept
and what we won't accept. So you'll accept him, and I'm saying allegedly. I'm not on his side. I'm just saying what's reported. So allegedly, like when we would look at this reality show, we watch people smack the shit out of people and punch people and the whole nine. Be like, oh my God, did you see what happened on Real Husbands and Housewives? And you know what I'm saying? And did you see what happened on Love and Hip Hop? Damn, that bitch punched in the face and the whole nine. Like, we look at that type of shit, and then you look at an Instagram live, and then like we're concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, them two don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? You watching the show on TV.
Because one is a scripted series and this is someone else's
people
life.
still get in fights though. Stevie J got knocked out on Love and Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? Scrappy knocked him the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't scripted. You can say whatever you want. His ass got knocked out. Period. You know what I'm saying? C's flipped Puma upside down on Black, and that was not scripted. Those fights are real. You know what I'm saying? Jim Jones punched that dude on Love and Hip Hop.
But look where you're going, man against man. You haven't once mentioned a man hitting a woman on any one of those shows and saying that was real.
Got you. Donna and her boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was him not fighting back and then having the whole cast step in to say, well, we filming it. But my thing is, they didn't film that part. They filmed the part where he was saying he didn't feel safe, but he was damn near forced to come out and say, okay, is Donna abusing you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, men get laughed at shit like that, but you won't talk about her. Like, we won't even get the same sympathy. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, let it be in the family's hands. Let it be in their hand, the people that matter. Because this shit that you talking about is horse shit. And that's my point right there. You know, because you think it's
You
funny.
laughing
You
at
think
it.
it's funny. You think it's funny. A man getting abused. You know what I'm saying? And it's
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because when I kept it on men, she was like, oh, she had her chest pumped out, like, you know what I'm saying, King Kong and shit like that. But when I
That's the way
flipped
you
it to
said it.
because that's what happened.
But yeah, that was the way you said it. Talking about he had to damn near be forced.
He
to
did.
feel safe. She was
He
kicking his
did.
ass.
He did. He had to be forced. So that's what I'm saying. Just stop watching the show. Like, I've learned to stop watching the show. But what I will say is people that's closest to them, yes, they have an obligation. If that's my sister, my cousin, you know what I'm saying, someone in my family, I'm definitely reaching out because I actually know them. And they can get the whole story. Look, man, what happened? You see what I'm saying? And they should intervene. They definitely should. His family should intervene. They definitely should. Us is the public. I don't know enough, and I ain't finna do that.
I mean, the only way we can intervene though is stop watching. That's what I meant. That's the only
That's
thing
what
we
I do.
can do. I mean, we don't know them personally.
I got you.
But I don't want to encourage it. And okay, on this IG live, she had 1 million viewers, and then now they put out a song and the shit go double platinum, and those are the things that perpetuate this toxic relationship. And saying, okay, we like watching because we're rewarding this behavior. And I don't want to
Gotcha.
reward seeing a woman get beat up.
I will answer this, but I will answer this in a man fashion because this has been a man. This has actually happened to me. I had a young lady, actually a family member, who that happened to her. Her dude beat her up, punched her, whatever the case may be, and then I went to go straighten him out. And then I did all that for you to get back with him. And that's my issue right there. You made that call to me. I traveled, you know what I'm saying, being your family member to go put my foot in somebody's ass. And then you right back with them. See, the person has to want to help themselves. That cry for help wasn't even really a cry for help. But now, we ain't cool because I put hands and feet on them.
Yes,
You
so now
understand?
y'all relationship.
And now I'm in a weird spot because you with them in a family function that you called me for to do something to somebody with. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So as a woman, it's easy for you to say that because you're speaking from a perspective of a woman not having to go and put your hands and feet on a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, keeping it different. You know, look at Solange standing up for Beyonce. I'm quite sure that's awkward at family functionings and shit like that. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Depending on what the guy did.
I got you.
But sometimes
I agree.
motherfucker would be like, you know what, I
agree.
deserve
But I'm
this
just
shit,
saying,
sis.
I don't want it to make it seem like I just don't give a fuck. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that men sometimes get in situations where we can't take back what we did because men get physical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We get physical, we bring our guns, we go a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it's up to that family to do
to
that.
really step in. All right, guys, that's been an episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter. You can find me at IG and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
You can find your boy on both platforms. That's 51 Spade on Twitter and IG. I want to thank everybody for joining us in on TikTok. Hey, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you click that like, and that way you get them notifications. Hey, you looking for the shirts? You can find that at Alpha Male God Creations. Go ahead and get you one. We got the Relations shirts coming real soon. And you know what? We might be giving a couple of giveaways for the free season. So you gonna want to turn in for that too. So like I said, I'm glad y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, check out the YouTube channel. And I'm going to sign us out like I always do.